It was a morning like any other in Black Creek. The kind of morning where the sun barely peeks over the Appalachian hills, where the dew on the windows still shimmers, and the world seems to move at a steady, predictable pace. In a town of fewer than 5,000 souls, everything was routine. The coffee cups clinked in the local diner, the school bell rang on the dot, and every morning at exactly 6 a.m., a figure would appear on the Whispering Pines Trail, Elias Thorne, the town's dedicated runner. But on October 12th, 2021, Black Creek was shattered, not by sirens or chaos, but by an eerie, unnatural silence. Elias was never late, never missed a day. A loving husband to Anna, a devoted father to 2 children, and a man of meticulous habits, Elias ran the same 4.7-mile loop every morning, no exceptions. At 7 a.m., he would return, shower, and start his day. But that morning, there was nothing but the chilling absence of his return. Instead of the familiar sound of his steady footsteps on the trail, there was nothing. No thudding of shoes on dirt, no deep breaths, no rustling of the trees in the wind, just silence. The kind of silence that freezes you in your tracks. The only trace left behind was an inexplicable clue. Just 20 feet off the main trail, resting on a bed of damp pine needles, was a brand new, perfectly laced size 10 Nike Pegasus running shoe. It wasn't torn, it wasn't lost in the woods, it was placed deliberately. And more chillingly, it was still tied. The town of Black Creek, with all its predictability, couldn't make sense of it. Why leave a single meticulously placed sneaker at the scene of a disappearance? Why leave something so perfect in a scene otherwise untouched by disturbance? There was no sign of struggle, no trace of blood, no disturbance in the peaceful woods, yet there it was, the symbol of something dark and calculating. This was the impossible clue, a symbol that demanded answers, a mystery that couldn't be ignored, and thus began the search for Elias Thorne. A search that would unravel the fabric of reality itself. Black Creek was a town where everyone knew your name and your secrets. It was a place where life moved with the rhythm of a small, quiet town, hidden in the folds of the Appalachian foothills. But now, that rhythm was shattered. Elias's disappearance wasn't just a tragedy. It was a rupture in the very core of the town. A town that had never seen violence, let alone something as haunting as this. The first 72 hours of the search were a blur, chaos disguised as order. Volunteers, officers, and specialized search teams combed through the woods, meticulously looking for any clue. They found nothing. No blood, no torn fabric, no sign of a struggle. Just the shoe, resting on the pine needles, placed as if it were a part of a larger, meticulously planned design. The assumption was that Elias had been abducted. But the more they searched, the more the scene contradicted that assumption. How does someone abduct a strong, grown man from a jogging trail at 6:15 a.m. without making a sound? And why would the kidnapper leave behind such an unnerving clue? Why such a deliberate, controlled piece of evidence? Detective Mark Jenner, a man who had served Black Creek for 20 years, immediately recognized the psychological signature of the case. He had seen it before in his career, but never like this. "You run a missing person case in a city," Jenner later said, his voice heavy with fatigue. "You've got millions of possibilities. In Black Creek, everyone's a witness, everyone's a suspect, and everyone's terrified. The forest here, it swallows sound, it swallows people." The investigation soon focused on the last known witness, Marcus Lowell, a retired postal worker who walked his beagle every morning at 6:10 a.m. According to Marcus, he had seen Elias at the entrance to the trail just before 6:12 a.m. Elias was running slowly, warming up as he always did. But this time something was different. He stopped, Marcus recalled, his voice shaky. In the middle of his stride, just froze. He looked past me like he saw something. I don't know what it was, but I've never seen him like that before. It was like he was trying to say something, but no words came out. And then, just as suddenly, Elias resumed his run and disappeared into the woods. Marcus's account was unsettling, but it also raised a crucial question. Was Elias stopping because he had seen something dangerous? Or was he already compromised? Was he under some kind of control? But Marcus's testimony wasn't the final piece of the puzzle. Something was off. Marcus claimed Elias was wearing both of his shoes when they saw each other, but the shoe found 20 feet off the trail was undisturbed, perfectly tied, and placed there long after their encounter. It was an anomaly, a clue left behind, deliberate and out of place. Detective Jenner's investigation took a more disturbing turn when the police found Elias's phone, not abandoned on the trail, but deliberately discarded in his kitchen garbage bin. Elias never went for a run without his phone, yet this was a man who had been careful, predictable, almost too predictable. "I've seen a lot of missing person cases," Jenner said, but this one felt like a performance, a cover-up. Whoever did this knew Elias well. They knew how to make him disappear. The GPS data from Elias's phone revealed an even more chilling detail. Elias's last recorded ping was from his home Wi-Fi at 6:01 a.m. Nothing from the trail, nothing from the woods, as if he had vanished from his own kitchen before he even left for his run. But the real kicker came when they examined the sole of the abandoned sneaker. Embedded in the grooves of the tread were microscopic traces of deep-sea marine sediment that only comes from the deepest points of the ocean, hundreds of miles away. This was a physical impossibility. Black Creek was nowhere near the ocean. The question was, how did the shoe, worn by a runner on a trail in Appalachia, end up with traces of deep ocean sediment? Forensics confirmed it. This wasn't just a clue, it was a message. As the case stalled and the investigation seemed to grind to a halt, a mysterious package arrived at the police station. Inside was a small, leather-bound journal in Elias's handwriting. One passage was dated the day before his disappearance. "The dreams are getting worse. Not dreams, memories. Of a place I've never been. I keep tasting salt, and I see a light, too bright, too cold, moving beneath the water. I think I know what they want. It's what I did before I came to Black Creek. It's following me, and I can't outrun it." Elias had a hidden past. Before Black Creek, before the family, before the routine, he had been a highly secretive geospatial analyst, working on high-security government contracts. Contracts so classified that the FBI only acknowledged they were marine-related. That deep-sea sediment wasn't just a clue, it was the key to a horrifying secret. The freezing moment in the woods, the discarded phone, the abandoned shoe, all of it was connected to Elias's former life. The people he had once worked for, people with interests far beyond Black Creek, had come to reclaim him. They had taken him. The case shifted from a small-town disappearance to something much darker, a covert operation of global proportions. 6 months later, a final package arrived at Anna Thorne's doorstep. It wasn't sealed with wax this time. Inside was a high-resolution satellite image taken from hundreds of miles above. It showed a non-commercial vessel, a ship with no modern registry. Standing on the deck, staring directly at the camera, was Elias Thorne. He was older, heavier, but undeniably him. But the most chilling part was his face. There was nothing in his eyes, no recognition, no life, just a hollow shell, a ghost. Anna Thorne looked at the image, the tears welling up in her eyes. It wasn't a message of comfort, it was a message of control. It said, "He's ours now." Detective Jenner retired 6 months later, defeated by a mystery that transcended his training. "We chased a ghost in a running shoe," he said, "and we never found him." Elias Thorne vanished at dawn, leaving behind a wife, 2 children, and one single, perfect running shoe, an enigma that continues to haunt Black Creek. The case was never solved. No one knows what truly happened to Elias Thorne. But his story, his disappearance, has become an unshakable echo in the town. Every morning, the runners on the Whispering Pines Trail look over their shoulders, their footsteps quickening as they wonder if the man in the shoe, the man with the empty eyes, is still out there, running a secret marathon on a secret sea. Some mysteries aren't meant to be solved. They are meant to be feared. And the disappearance of Elias Thorne remains an unanswered question, a permanent scar on the soul of Black Creek.